Well, I'm not a techie. By no means am I a high performance mechanic in any way, but I'm going to try to get some high performance out of my VW Vanagon. Again, I got a 1982 air-cooled 2-liter all stock motor. And honestly, I want to keep it that way, but I do want a little bit more power from it. I did a few things that maybe you're not supposed to do. Catalytic converters and all that stuff are all completely taken out of it. That's something that was done before I got it. But it does have a lot more power than a factory one. But what I'm going to do today, I've replaced all the spark plug wires, changed the oil, did all that stuff, changed a new air filter. Now, when you buy an air intake kit, I haven't seen one for a VW, but for some of the other cars that I do have, I've put air intakes on them, K&N air filters, what have you. Airflow is all about airflow efficiency, how easy it is to get air from the atmosphere into your carburetor and into the engine. And most factory air boxes are designed to go in the opposite direction of that for some odd reason, and it's probably due to emissions and exhaust and state laws and all that other blah 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 blah. But that's the case with the VW Vanagon as well. There is a huge air box that's sitting on that vehicle. This is the bottom half of it, and this thing attaches basically to the air box. And then this tube right here, I was wondering, I thought maybe I was missing a piece, but this tube actually goes right here. And this you're looking through is where my brake lights are, because I'm working on the electrical on my brake lights, putting all LEDs, and it's a whole project, but it's coming together real fast. But that tube ends up right here. And right on this side, on both sides, is that infamous vent or air intake. And you'll find that on all the old school VWs as well. VW buses and all that stuff. They make scoops over here that you can put on to actually take in air a lot easier. But inevitably the air just goes down into this area here and just kind of blows all over the place. So any of the dust that's in the air, any of the water, the rain, it's all getting sucked down in there. And then that little tube ends up right here where my hand is. And it's sucking from this very small hole right here. So, as far as getting air into the carburetor efficiently and effectively, it's doing a very poor job. Imagine swimming in the ocean or the pool and trying to breathe through a very tiny straw. The smaller that straw gets, the harder it is for you to get air into your lungs. So, same principle right here. It's sucking through here. I did notice a couple holes, 3 holes actually, on the bottom of this air box. So these are designed to, if water does come into it, for the water to drip out, dust to fall out, and what have you. And at the same time, a little bit of air is getting sucked through these 3 tiny holes as well. These little things right here just hold the air box up. But here's something I'm going to do. I'm just going to give it a try before I get into carburation and all that stuff. I'm going to show you where the air box is, the air filter that lies inside. That is the air box. That's the air filter that's found inside the box. What I'm going to do is I actually expose this whole thing, and I figure I'm just going to give it a try and start it, see what happens. I'm going to tell you right now, just by doing that simple thing, just by disconnecting the air box or opening the air box up, taking that bottom half off, I've got an increase in throttle response. Basically, when I touch that gas pedal, before I push the pedal down, you'll slowly hear the engine RPMs rise up. Let it go, it slows down. Of course, press the gas again, engine RPM slowly goes up. Now, just with the bottom of that airbox taken off, as soon as I touch the gas, it revs up very fast. One thing I heard with the old box sounded like it was suffocating, but trying to suck in air. With this bottom piece off, I don't hear that anymore. It's breathing the way I think it should. So what I'm going to do is, we obviously can't leave the bottom of that air box open. The air filter is going to fall out. I didn't want to do anything cheesy with wire ties or screws or anything to try and wire tie that air filter onto the bottom of the air box. But what I am going to do, kind of looked at this air box. I want to clamp this thing back onto where it needs to be, so it still looks very factory. These are all the clamps that hold the air box and the air filter where it needs to be. So I am going to cut this air box right around that line there that you can see that's under all the attachments. This tube is going to come off, and basically this entire lower half, with the exception of these little nubs that stick out to hold the airbox in place, I'm going to leave those there. The rest of it's going to get cut out, so the entire bottom of this will be open, but still maintain that factory look, give it a much easier breathability, if you will, and hopefully increase some power when I actually drive it. But I did run it, I gassed it, and it actually seems to run better. Idles even better. So of course it's going to change air fuel a little bit, but I think it's a significant change in the positive direction, not the negative direction. So before you go out and buy an entire carburetor system, air filter and what have you, hang out for a moment, sit back, relax, and enjoy this ride, and we'll see if this simple cutting with a Dremel makes all the difference in the world to prevent you from having to go spend $300, $400, $500, or $600 on a carburetor kit. And this is for a single carburetor only. So if you want to get into the duals, whole different story. But then again, that's far from being optional. You guys take care. Again, sit back, relax, and enjoy this adventure.